Good afternoon, and thank you for allowing the time to join us today. My name is Charles Scott. Welcome to this month's Civil Designer Software Open Classroom webinar. In today's webinar, I'm going to be joined by Cameron Boyle, who will be covering civil designers, industry-leading and very popular time-saving, strings-based roads design and verification functionality, which forms part of our roads module. During Cameron's presentation, please feel free at any stage to use the text chat service on your GoToWebinar app or webpage to ask us any questions you may have. Cameron, it's been great working with you again. Please take it away.
Thank you, Charles. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. We'll then be looking at the junctions functionality. So we'll look at this junction or intersection in more detail. I'll also show you how easy it is to go about plotting the junctions with setting out details. Thereafter, we'll look at the cul-de-sac design and then finish off with this mini roundabout. Closing this project, going to a new project where the designs haven't been done yet. Before you proceed with the junction designs, it's always a good idea to take cognizance of your elevations so that you can make provision for your stormwater drainage. Hence, what I've done here is I've turned on my height shading using the surveying terrain module. Taking note that all the low points are indicated by blue, being on the western side of our project, and then the higher point on the southern side of our project, looking at that red or orange information. During your road design process, it's a good idea to utilize the display settings for verification purposes. You can, for instance, very easily go and turn on your road contours and very easily go and change the display settings of these contours, not worrying about predetermined styles. You have the option of turning on the labels of your contours and very easily changing things like your text size. If I do turn on slope arrows for my roads, the entire road surface will indicate arrows, not only the edges. In addition to that, if I go to my road shading, here not only can you go and specify different textures for different roads, but we also give you a drainage display where if you've got flat surfaces, Civil Designer could highlight it for you. You have the option of showing high points with its elevation and then turning on symbols with its own display settings. Same applies to low points, which makes it ideal for your curb inlet positions. Clicking on OK just to give you an idea of what this all looks like. As can be seen from the contours and the slope arrows, it's easy to identify whether your road is in camber or in crossfall. Also take note, in a situation like this, you can see the contours and the slope arrows indicate the low point highlighted in red. And because of Civil Designer's fully integrated modules, you're able to use the stormwater and put in curb inlets. Exiting Civil Designer's render view and back in the design. A couple of things to take note of. If I select this road and I go and right click, I can go to road operations and select vertical alignment. As I move my cursor on the long section, you can see in plan there's a big red cross that indicates my position of long section. If need be, I can go and right click and select to edit a PI point. Alternatively, I can go and right click and select move PI. Just check in where our intersection would be. Closing that, perhaps I should mention that you might also want your crossfall of your intersecting road to be similar to that of the main road. There's different ways that you can do this. One of my favorite ways is by going to the terrain mode, going to graphical and then selecting annotate slope. Specify to use the existing road string model for interpolation and then clicking on a start point and an endpoint. Right click and quit. There I've got an approximate grade of negative 1.73%. Bearing that in mind, if I go to the intersecting roads design, I can go back to the road mode, alignment, edge level, edit super. As I go and select the different cells in the spreadsheet, you can see the position of the design being updated. So looking at the crossbar, I've got 1.74% grade, very similar to the main road's longitudinal grade. Alternatively, another way of checking this is by going to Section, Graphical Edit, clicking on the main road, going to your display settings, and then turning on longitudinal grade. Once you turn that on, you'll see this additional information bar. As you go and press page down on your keyboard, you can see what that longitudinal grade looks like. To get rid of that grade, I'm going to press Ctrl Z on my keyboard for undo. I'm first going to go and put in a very quick intersection or junction design, just to show you how quick it's actually done, and then I'll go into more detail a bit later. I'm going to Junctions, Add Junction, click on Intersecting Road, click on Main Road, specify left curve information, and you can see how we've got a preview of the existing values. I'm going to change that to 20 center radius, and I'll go into more detail what that actually means at a later stage. Then I'm then going to select right curve, put in a center radius of 30, click elsewhere, and I can see what the update looks like. When I click on OK, the contours and the slope arrows will dynamically be updated, and our junction or intersection will be designed without the need to specify regions and create surfaces. Click on OK. Specify where you want a list of coordinates. You can either specify it on your screen or output bar here at the bottom. You can make a printout of it, or you can create a text file. If you do select to create a text file, you can go and specify where you'd like to save it. For webinar purposes, I'm just going to select the screen output, click on OK. And within a couple of seconds, we've got our junction design. The contours and the slope arrows have dynamically been updated, and already we have an output or text file with all the coordinates and elevations. Turning off my contours and my slope arrows. One of the reasons why I did a very quick design is to show you that it's very easy to go and make changes to an existing design. In that case, I go to Junctions, go and select Edit Junction, and then click on the existing junction. Looking at the left curve, you can see Civil Designer indicates the left-hand side and the right-hand side. Another very useful diagram is this one over here. As you go and specify the different options, Civil Designer changes this diagram, explaining what curve information is required, and in that case it goes and makes these two cells active. If I choose to rather go and put in a taper value, the diagram again goes and updates, and the required taper values become active. If you're not quite sure what the taper value could be used for, here's a good idea where you go and put in slip lanes. Then you've got your center radius, which is this one over here, and then you've got your lead out information, and that's going back into the main road. Again, as you go and make changes to that information, the preview as well as the updated diagram will be indicated. Switching that off, I'm going to go and make that 15. Then further down the list, when you go and put in your bow mouth vertical gradient, and I'll show you this after our design, where you go and see the vertical alignment of the bow mouth, you can go and specify whether you want to use a linear or S-curve. In addition to these two options, if you go and pick up your bow mouth from CAD, you'll have a third option here to pick up from your CAD entities. I'm going to go and select the linear option, and then I'll also go and apply curve. Civil Designer has a whole library of curves to go and choose from. We got the Vanstone, we got the British Standards, we got the SABS. If you want to go and create your own curves, you can do so. Alternatively, you can go and edit an existing curve, go and make changes to the dimensions, and then go and save it. Civil Designer will also work out the quantities and the unit lengths of your curves. Your bow mouth dimensions will be placed at the face position of your curves. If you choose to put in a divider island, you have the option of specifying your own island settings, or you can pick it up from CAD. In my next example, I'll pick it up from CAD. In this example, we'll go and specify which island settings to use. The diagram indicates what the values represent, and if you need to make changes, it's very easy to do so. Moving on to the right curve. As mentioned before, if you've got everything in CAD, you can pick it up from your CAD entities. So let's do so in this case. I'm going to pick up my bow mouth information from the CAD entities, and I'm going to go and indicate the CAD entity. Nice thing about this function is if you don't have the CAD entity on yet, you can always go to your CAD layers and turn them on. I'm turning on layers here that I'll utilize for not only design purposes but also for explanation purposes. Right, so I'm going to click on indicate again. I'm hoping you can see that red arc there. I'm going to use for my bow mouth design. Go close by, left click, it's highlighted, I know it's the correct one. If I've made a mistake, I can go and right click and redefine it. If I've got more than one CAD entity, I can select multiple CAD entities. In this case, I'm happy with what I've selected. I select extract string. As far as my divider island is concerned, again, I'm going to go and pick up that information from my CAD entities. Click on indicate polyline. Just take in note that your two roads are transparent, so it's easy to see which CAD entity to use. Select it, it's highlighted. Again, I'm using a linear vertical grading for the right hand side. If need be, you can go and change your curb type for your islands. Clicking on center island. If you don't have your divider islands, you can go and specify a center island, and in a similar manner you can pick it up from your CAD entities. Looking at the layout information, I'm going to go into quite a bit of detail here so you understand what is used in the design process. Looking at the LC point, I've gone and put in a CAD layer here indicating your LC point. When you do your junction or intersection design, you're standing over here where the eye position is, and everything left and right is measured from that position. This would be the left hand side where my cursor is positioned. That position would have these coordinates over here. It's also at a chainage 335. So I've extended the line there to give you an indication of the chainage 335. If you prefer to use a different chainage value, you can make changes to it and make it fixed. That is the first point. Looking at the second point, main road right of intersection, we're looking at this point over here. Intersection point on main road would be where these two lines intersect, and then the last point is a point along the intersecting road. At this point, Civil Designer knows, according to the design files, what the width is left. Remember, you're standing from this position, so we're looking at left. It knows what the grade is, and from that we are able to interpolate an elevation point over there. And that applies to this LC point over here on the main road. Civil Designer will use the existing longitudinal grades of the main and intersecting roads It will then split the bow mouth into segments, and from that elevations are interpolated along the bow mouth. Remember, these are design tools that Civil Designer gives you. Utilizing these design tools, you need to ensure that there is sufficient slope along the bow mouths, and I'll show you how this can be achieved. And to finish off with, you can apply S-curve or the linear curve gradient along the entire junction. That would include your taper values and additional curve information. Or you can apply it just along the center curves only. All of this junction information can be saved or saved as something and then loaded at a later stage. And I will use that method to put in this junction design over here. Click in on OK. Specifying where I want to see the results. Click on OK again. And our junction is updated. You'll note that there were no regions that needed to be defined. I didn't need to remove any curbs along the intersection, as Civil Designer automatically did that for me. And again, if I want to go and turn on contours and slope, I can do like I did before. I don't have to go and create additional surfaces. And I don't need to go and make changes to my contours or my triangulation information. Turning off those CAD layers are used for explanation. If I want to change the display of my islands, I could go to my road plan layout and very easy go and make changes to, for instance, the colors. I'll leave the one as 15 and the other one as color 3 so that you can see the difference. Moving on to the next design. For now, I'm going to go and turn off the contours, slope arrows, and then just correct that pen color. These pen colors can also be utilized for all your roads. Moving on to the next junction or intersection design. I've made it quite easy for myself. I'm going to go to Junctions, Add Junction. Again, click on the intersecting road. Now, if I were to make a mistake and click on the wrong road, I'll get an error message. I can rectify the error by graphically selecting a different road as my main road. To save time, I choose to go and load an existing design. Specify which one I want to load and then click on OK. If your junction design is complete and you only now require a text file with all the design information, you can at a later stage go to Junctions and select Review Junctions. Again, go and specify where you want the result, click on OK. And if I were to go and make my output bar a lot bigger, you can review the information over here. If you want to go and make changes to your junction or intersection, as we did before, you can go to Junctions, Edit Junction. Alternatively, you can go to Bow Mouth Editor. If I go and select the bow mouth, again, as I move my cursor in the long section or vertical alignment in plan, we've got a red cross indicating the position. I've also chosen to have my cross sections displayed. You can see on the cross sections the position of your divider islands. We give you different display settings to choose from and many different tools where, for instance, you could go and apply a spline through a point. If you go and put your cursor on these different vertices along your junction design, you can see what the elevation looks like. If, for instance, I want to go and put in a high point there, it's very easy for me to go and make changes. If I want to, for instance, make that the highest point, I can go and apply that information, save it, and close it. In that case, as per our drainage display settings, Civil Designer's gone and marked that as a high point. If I want to now go and plot this out or create construction drawings, it's very easy. I don't have to export settings to a format and then import it back for planned productions. Simply go to Plot, Generate, go and select which of Civil Designer's customizable sheet files I want to use. I'm going to use the standard plan. I choose to create layouts that will dynamically update. Those layouts will be positioned here at the bottom. Click on Next. Specify which scale I'd like to use. I can already ask Civil Designer to turn on grids during the plot process, and then I can very easily go and move my plot. Having done that, as I move my cursor, you can see there's a big red rectangle. Happy with the position on my plot, I can go and left click. No need to adjust the rotation, and then right click and quit. Click on Next. I've got numerous lists available to me, but in this case I just want my junction and my island lists. Have the option to specify drawing reference number. Click on OK. It goes through the plotting process. I can very easily go and move this table. I don't need to go and define viewports, and you'll also find that there's no need to apply and mask to these tables. Take in the bow mouth table and again move in it. Just zooming in so that you can see what it looks like. If you find that you aren't happy with these additional rows on the table here, you can make changes, and I'll use this to actually show you where you can go and set up your sheet file in this case. So going to my sheet file editor, loading that sheet file, going to my sheet file settings, looking at the plan. We dealt with the road add-on list, so I can increase that number of rows to 50. And then also looking at the road junction list. With the road junction list, you can go and specify the round changes. I don't know if you recall, when we put in our junction design, I specified half-meter intervals. Here we're actually labeling every 1 meter. You can go and customize your vertex labels. You can go and right-click and specify what information you want displayed. And then also specify your text height. Having made the changes, click on OK, save the information, and then go to Plot, Force Dynamic, Generate. When we do this, you'll see the tables being updated. And now returning to our design. Moving on to the cul-de-sac. Again, Civil Designer makes any junction design easy. If we go back to our roads mode, go to Junctions, add cul-de-sac, indicate position of cul-de-sac, click on the edge of my road, and this user-friendly dialog box comes up. As you go and make changes to the type of cul-de-sac, you can see both in the design and the display in your dialog is updated. We also handle hammerhead design. The diagram indicates which values are required for input, and again, as you go and make changes to these values, the preview will be updated. You have the option to specify your own grade or use the existing grade. All of these designs can again be saved and loaded at a later stage. Within a couple of seconds, Civil Designer has gone and updated my design. I'm in possession of the text files. and I don't need to go and rebuild or create a surface in order to see my contours. I can simply go back to my display settings and turn them on. You don't need to switch them off during the design procedure either. If you want to go and plot this out, you could use the same sheet file as we did with the junction or intersection design. Switching off my road contours again and slope arrows. Moving on to the final section of our webinar, looking at the mini roundabout design. Again, I go to Junctions, select Add Mini Roundabout. Reading my prompt, I select the first intersecting road. I then select my main road. I have the option to press Escape here for three-way roundabout. Alternatively, I'm going to go and select the four-way option. There's a nice interface between the values that you put here and the preview. If, for instance, I were to go and make the value 2, straight away you can see what the result looks like. So even before we finish the design, we can actually see what the finished product would look like. Reverting back to 4. We have additional crossflow information or alternatives. I can go and specify crown design, and in that case look at the diagram on the bottom right hand side, or I have the option of a crossflow. I want to select the drape option. In that case, Civil Designer uses the crossfalls of the main road. I'm going to apply a curb to the center island. The lane width too, as indicated on the diagram, can be changed as well as your crossfall. Coordination interval is fully customizable, and a minimum bow mouth radius can be implemented. If you choose to put in the center islands, additional information can be inserted. As before, we also have the option to save this and then load it at a later stage. Clicking on OK. Civil Designer probably does about 15 pages of calculation, and within a couple of seconds we have our design. Before we go and view our design in 3D, I want to go and turn on some CAD layers, which is always nice for presentation purposes. Using Civil Designer's road signage module, I've gone and put in my road signs and road markings. Then I can simply go and right click and select render view, not needing to export to any other software program. I can go and view my designs from different perspectives. Returning back to the junction, if you want to view this from a 360-degree perspective, you can simply right click and select circle around. Thank you very much for your time, ladies and gentlemen. If you've got any additional questions, please don't hesitate to ask us. Until next time, cheers for now, and back to you, Charles.
Thank you very much, Cameron. That was very interesting. If you enjoyed today's webinar, please visit our website, where under the Services menu on the Webinars page, you'll find a list of our last 81 webinars, and by late this afternoon, we will have posted a link to a copy of today's event. While here, please also visit our FAQ library page, where we have posted around 450 short, searchable videos created from our webinar series. This page has become an extremely popular online support resource. Once again, thank you very much for allowing the time to join us today. Please follow our company page on LinkedIn if you have not done so already, where we post our latest customers, Civil Designer Showcase project stories, relevant industry news, and new Civil Designer tech tip videos. Please have a great afternoon, weekend when it arrives, and goodbye for now.